is a day much like any other day, and that's why today I'm bringing you all the good vegan news you want and deserve. I'm Marielle for Forkable News, and let's get right into today's topics. I'm here now in Studio 1F. My computer is perched atop a cat tower, and I'm ready to deliver you today's breaking stories. First up, self-dyeing vegan leather shoe and wallet grown from bacteria, giving a whole new meaning to the term dirty hippie. Eco-friendly vegan leather could transform the fashion industry. A remarkable advancement at Imperial College London is redefining the future of sustainable fashion with the development of vegan leather. This innovative material, completely free from animal products and plastics, is the result of cutting-edge genetic engineering techniques. Remarkably, it possesses the unique capability to dye itself. Now if only they could invent that for human hair. Consequently, this breakthrough represents a major leap towards more sustainable fashion practices. It also broadens the horizons for environmentally conscious production methods, setting a new standard for the industry. The fashion industry, historically notorious for its heavy environmental footprint, especially in fabric dyeing processes, is at the cusp of a revolution. Synthetic dyes, particularly black used in leather production, are among the most polluting aspects of fashion manufacturing. The research team from Imperial College London embarked on a mission to tackle this issue head-on, leveraging the power of biology to create a viable, eco-friendly alternative. By engineering bacteria to simultaneously produce a durable material and its pigment, they've unlocked the potential for fabrics. These materials are not only diverse in color and pattern, but also significantly less harmful to the environment. Unlike its conventional and plastic-based counterparts, this new material requires far fewer resources, such as carbon emissions, water, and land use. Importantly, it does not depend on petrochemicals, guaranteeing safe and non-toxic biodegradation. Researchers were able to grow a wallet and this shoe from the material. Not only did they achieve a feat, no pun intended, of science, but they were also able to uphold the stereotype of vegan shoes being really ugly. I'm just kidding. Am I? The next story comes to us via Green Queen. Congress asks Biden for more plant-based options. In an open letter to Biden last month, 55 congressional leaders asked the president to expand vegan offerings in all federal facilities nationwide, using scientific evidence to describe the environmental and health virtues of plant-based diets, and noting their importance in meeting the dietary and cultural demands of workplace meals. Our federal government spends billions of dollars on food procurement each year, and can play an important role in empowering and providing consumers with healthy food offerings, the letter reads. Today, we want to encourage your administration to work with federal agencies to make a plant-based option available everywhere our federal government serves a meal, from museums to national parks and federal agency cafeterias to military bases. The letter was led by Democrat Jamie Raskin and facilitated by climate activism organization the Environmental Working Group. It lays out findings from a host of studies outlining the impact of plant-based diets on human and planetary health, and is co-signed by policymakers like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Raja Krishnamurti, Adam Schiff, Sri Thanadar, Julia Brownlee, and Barbara Lee, among others. They made the case for the health benefits of a vegan diet, mentioning the Stanford University trial led by Christopher Gardner, which compared the effects of a vegan diet on identical twins. The letter goes on to spotlight a landmark study published in the Nature journal last year, which showed that vegan diets can reduce emissions, water pollution, and land use by 75% compared to a meat-heavy diet. I mean, how many more reasons do you need, Joe? We're not asking you to do it, we're just asking for one measly option on the menu. However, one of the biggest barriers to such policies is a lack of consumer education about these effects, with 74% of Americans thinking meat doesn't have any impact on climate change, and the number of vegans hitting a 10-year low last year. And I'm proud to be American, and I go While the food service guidelines for federal facilities recommends that federal facilities provide, quote, protein foods from plants, a vegetarian or plant-based option is still not commonly offered at federal food facilities, the letter argues. It further cites a Harvard University study revealing that making more nutritious options available to federal workers and visitors will improve people's health and lead to overall cost savings for the government. I mean, now do you have enough reasons, Joe? An increasing number of local governments are embracing plant-based foods, including Los Angeles County, New York City, Baltimore, and Texas. The federal administration would do well to follow in their lead ahead of November 5th. I agree. Thank you, Green Queen, for that breaking oh, what's that? we've got another one from Green Queen. Okay, here we go. It's not a joke. Pizza Hut France adds La Vie plant-based ham on all menu items for the same price. When Pizza Hut France tweeted on Monday that it was replacing its conventional ham with La Vie's vegan version, it felt like another April Fool's joke. That was the consensus on the social media platform too, until the startup responded with, "It's not a joke." It definitely ruffled some feathers, with one user finding the joke not funny and saying they'll boycott the brand, and another, presumably a ham lover, warning the pizza chain it had just lost a customer. What's the matter, guys? Can't take a joke? You know, that thing you always accuse vegans of not being able to do? But there was a catch. While Pizza Hut France did switch out all its animal-derived ham with the pea protein ham, it was only doing so for one day. So if you ordered a dish with ham from the restaurant chain yesterday, you ate La Vie ham. Joke's on you. Starting today, conventional ham is back on the menu, but La Vie's isn't going away anywhere. I believe that was a typo, with Pizza Hut making it available as an on-demand option for all its dishes for the rest of the year. And the best part, there's no extra cost for swapping the hams. Pizza Hut France is offering La Vie without any upcharge. This is great, but Pizza Hut France is still following that baffling age-old playbook of adding a vegan meat option before they even have a vegan cheese option, giving us everything and nothing at the same time. Like, let's start at the bottom layer and work our way up. So we got the crust, okay, good. We got the sauce, good. Now let's worry about the cheese before we get to the top. Pizza Hut France continues to innovate and doesn't hesitate to break new ground, said the company's regional CMO, Emily Genti. Once again, Pizza Hut France is thinking big by collaborating with La Vie to offer a plant-based alternative to ham on all our ranges. Our pizzas, our melt, our pastas, and our starters. When notoriously vegan-hating France is managing to be more forward-thinking at an American chain in France than that same American chain manages to be in America, that's when you know we're in trouble. Don't put your passport away just yet, because next, we're traveling to Denmark. Copenhagen Fashion Week bans exotic animal skins and feathers. Will others follow? 2 years after announcing it will go fur-free, Copenhagen Fashion Week is now doubling down on its anti-cruelty stance with a ban on exotic skins and feathers, which are derived from animals like crocodiles, snakes, alligators, peacocks, and ostriches. The decision follows similar moves from smaller fashion weeks like Stockholm, Helsinki, and Melbourne, plus brands like Chanel and Burberry, but items like alligator handbags, crocodile leather shoes, and python heels are still not seen in the same light as fur by many labels and organizers. This is why Copenhagen Fashion Week's ban on skins and feathers, which will come into effect in the beginning of 2025, is significant, becoming the highest profile event to introduce it, according to trade publication The Business of Fashion. It's part of the event's broader sustainability initiatives, setting a high benchmark for brands hoping to participate in the show. It's great that things are changing in fashion, but citing sustainability over ethics remains in vogue. These animals are bred and kept in horrific conditions and are killed in shockingly inhumane ways. I won't go into detail because I don't want to ruin your day, but if you yourself purchase these products, you should probably pause to read because you are certainly part of the problem. The organization notes that luxury fashion houses like Hermes and Louis Vuitton have driven such fashion practices. They don't just source these skins, but now own factory farms themselves. So if you're a fashionista, maybe think twice about supporting these brands. Despite fur, wild animal skins, and feathers all resulting in animals being killed specifically for fashion, the industry is poorly informed on these issues beyond fur, in part due to greenwashing and ethics washing by the industries exploiting animals. There has, in recent years, been this apparent hierarchy in fashion of what materials are thought of as inhumane. Fur at the top, exotic skins second, feathers, cow and lamb leather, and then maybe wool. It doesn't make any repeatable sense, but I'm happy to see it seems to be changing. I hope you didn't lose your passport in Copenhagen, because you'll need it again for the next story. Veganuary, fast food, and Gen Z. Why the UK is so vegan-friendly right now. Compared to the US, the UK is steaming ahead in terms of vegan food and its popularity. But why exactly? Right now, if you were to walk down any British high street, you could step into most restaurants and find a vegan menu. Many independent eateries offer delicious plant-based options, sure, but vegan food is not on the fringes of society in the UK. It's in McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, Pizza Hut, Subway, Starbucks, Krispy Kreme, and Greg's. Don't fancy fast food? From Aldi to Tesco to Sainsbury's, every single one of the biggest grocery store chains in the country offers its own range of plant-based food. And we're not just talking about tofu, however great it may be, we're talking vegan bacon, tuna, ham, steak, nuggets, burgers, sausages, and more. It's kind of a plant-based paradise. Things in the US are improving, but the situation isn't quite the same. You You could say that again. A perfect example is the McDonald's menu. In the UK, you can order a vegan McPlant meal with a side of fries and veggie fingers. In the US, you can't even get the fries because they're cooked in beef flavoring. This is not to say that America doesn't have much to be proud of when it comes to plant-based innovation. It's just that when it comes to eating that same vegan food, the UK seems to have more of an insatiable appetite for it. The difference is partly due to size. The UK is significantly smaller than the US. 11 states in the US could fit the entire country inside them, and given the chance, they would certainly eat them. It doesn't actually say that. I just had to make a little joke. This makes it far easier for organizations like Veganuary, which encourages people to give up animal products for 1 month to gain the momentum and keep it up. The co-founder of Veganuary believes the movement has played a pivotal role in the UK's plant-based food industry's significant growth over the last decade. Retailers, restaurants, and food manufacturers have wholeheartedly embraced this initiative, introducing new products and menu items. The establishment of a month dedicated to veganism and plant-based diets, which has gained widespread recognition, has profoundly transformed the food sector in the UK. It kind of reminds me of how Dry January has really taken hold in the US, with many bars, restaurants, and even major alcohol brands getting behind it. Who knows, maybe we as a society can only really handle one self-improvement challenge per month. Asked why the plant-based food industry hasn't taken hold in the US in the same way, a PR officer for the Vegan Society said, "The advocacy for dietary change on a per capita basis has been more subdued in the US. Veganuary has not had the same transformative effect, partly due to the country's vast size and limited resources. The meat lobby's influence is also stronger." You could say that again. Misinformation campaigns, ag-gag laws, and legal challenges pose significant obstacles to the plant-based food industry. However, the US leads in food technology innovation, with companies like Beyond Meat, Impossible Foods, and Eat Just outpacing their UK and European counterparts. Good stuff, UK. I'm really happy for you. Last week I was at a hospital, and in the cafeteria there wasn't a single vegetarian hot food option, much less a vegan one. I got a Larabar and a banana, neither of which I particularly like, but I didn't want to pass out and have to get admitted to the hospital myself. I love being an American. Speaking of America, what could be more American than our next story? The 141-year-old hot dog stalwart Oscar Mayer is coming out with a vegan hot dog, and some nice editors over at Bon Appetit did us a favor and taste tested them. Set to debut in retailers later in 2024, Oscar Mayer's vegan franks are produced in partnership with Notco, which uses an AI program that's for some reason named Giuseppe to analyze molecular structures of items like milk and chicken and create plant-based dupes like not milk, not chicken, and not burger. If you tune in to Good Vegan News often, you already know all about Giuseppe. We first met him back in December. The taste better part is important, especially to our staff here at Bon Appetit. We're all for a vegan alternative, but it shouldn't feel like a compromise. Because God forbid anyone should have to compromise to minimize the pain and suffering of others. Several of our editors have dabbled in plant-based sausages and not purchased them again. The question in our test kitchen was clear: is Oscar Mayer's vegan hot dog delicious enough to include in your next backyard barbecue? Straight out of the package, the dogs were floppy with a kielbasa scent. Well, that doesn't sound good. Nearly identical to real hot dogs. Oh. Okay then. To find out how they tasted, we sizzled the dogs in a skillet with a squirt of vegetable oil, tucked them into squishy buns, and zigzagged on a bit of mustard for the full hot dog experience. I don't know about you, but this particular word salad really tickled my fancy. Despite their vegan casing, sodium alginate, a common casing for plant-based sausages that's derived from seaweed, the dogs browned beautifully as they cooked. Each link developed a shiny, burnished crust as it plumped, just like a real wiener. Our tasters, a notoriously choosy bunch, were delighted. Epicurious commerce writer Wilder Davies flatteringly compared them to a Costco hot dog and said they were just the right amount of smoky and savory. A delicious hot dog is a delicious hot dog, regardless of the protein source, and Oscar Mayer proves that a plant-based hot dog can indeed be craveable. The links that our taste were gobbled up quickly, perhaps too quickly. Are they all gone? Culinary production director Kelly Jank asked after our test concluded. I want more. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm sold. I'm not being sarcastic, even though it sounds like I am. I would actually try these. Hot dogs are about as American as football, apple pie, and guns. And as you might be able to tell from other comments I've made throughout this segment, my American pride could definitely use some work. Thanks, Oscar Mayer. I can't wait to try them. Again, I'm being serious, although it sounds insincere. Speaking of Americans and wieners, Jeff Bezos pledges $60 million to alternative meat research. Analysts have been suggesting for months that the plant-based bubble may have burst, but a new infusion of capital may quell that speculation. Jeff Bezos is philanthropic organization will donate $60 million to improve and scale meat alternatives in order to help slow the rate of climate change, deforestation, and biodiversity loss. The donation will finance the establishment of a number of university research centers over the next 5 years, which will be known as Bezos Centers for Sustainable Protein. A press release noted that the funding would apply to innovation on all kinds of alternative proteins, including plant-based, cultivated, lab-grown, and fermented meats. Particularly, the goal will be to target the major barriers that the infant industry faces, lowering costs, increasing quality, and boosting nutritional benefits. But there's a growing political backlash that might be trickier to tackle, with bills banning or criminalizing alternative meat emerging in several U.S. state houses. Sanchez made the announcement in Florida, where Bezos now lives. It would be the first state to criminalize cultivated meat production if Ron DeSantis signs a newly passed bill into law. Well, as with many problems in America, I guess we'll just lob this one over to a billionaire and hope that they can fix it. But seriously, I really do hope some good comes out of this, and best of luck to you, Bezos. Our last story comes to us from Sentient Media. Over 1 million vegan meals served in NYC hospitals. At the Sodexo Culinary Center in Brooklyn, members of the press, representatives from NYC Mayor Eric Adams' office, and chefs gathered for an unlikely food tasting: vegan hospital food. Hosted by the Mayor's Office of Food Policy, the menu featured a jerk mushroom with collard greens, sancocho, a Latin American stew, pea pesto penne, and even a vegan panna cotta, or in these circles, plant-based. The idea behind the partnership between NYC Health and Hospitals, the Mayor's Office of Food and Policy, and Sodexo, a multinational catering and facilities management company, is that people in hospitals should have nutritious food available without having to miss out on taste and flavor. So far, the partnership has served over 1 million vegan meals in New York City hospitals. Options are meant to reflect the cultural background of New Yorkers, and the effort has become a model for other cities like Copenhagen and LA. The New York City program launched in 2022, originally as a lunch program that is now offered across 11 city hospitals. A plant-based patient menu authored by Chef Philip DeMaio and registered dietitians includes recipes for soups, sandwiches, mains, sides, and desserts. The project also helps save money. Plant proteins tend to be cheaper than meat, which is then redirected to further patient care, says Dr. Katz. While patients can still order a meat or dairy dish, the vegan options are the default, a move that utilizes the theory of choice architecture to encourage patients to eat more plant-forward meals. I really like this story because, as I shared earlier, I recently had what could only be described as a harrowing experience at a hospital cafeteria. I mean, what gives? Why are we giving sick people more of the food that is partially responsible in many cases for making them sick in the first place? It makes no repeatable sense, and yet, here we are. Flour bar in one hand, banana in the other. Whatever your thoughts on Mayor Adams, this milestone is certainly welcome news to me and the entire team here at Forkable News. And that's it today for Good Vegan News. For more of this breaking coverage, be sure to like and subscribe. We here at Forkable Network have a goal of getting to 5,000 subscribers by May 21st, and we can do it with your help. To get these stories as soon as they break, tap the notification bell. It's that icon in the shape of a bell. Again, for Forkable News, I'm Marielle. Thanks for watching, good afternoon, and good evening.